Las Vegas is just coming off a bit of a summer travel slump.
Have you noticed it? The Las Vegas Strip, once hailed as the playground of America, feels different now. Empty blackjack tables at prime time, a $12 Starbucks coffee at a budget hotel, resort fees that turn a $45 room into $200. And the CEO of MGM Resorts? He almost admitted on live television what's really going on.
Look, Las Vegas has had a tough summer. I think visitation was down 11 and 12% June and July.
And the casinos are scrambling to explain why nobody wants to gamble there anymore. Here's what they're not telling you. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why people have stopped betting their money in Las Vegas, and why the casino executives know they can't fix it. Picture this: a CNBC studio. Bill Hornbuckle, CEO of MGM Resorts International, sits across from a financial journalist defending his company's recent earnings. The conversation turns to pricing strategy, and Hornbuckle tries to explain why customers are complaining. He starts to say something about their pricing model, mentions that $12 Starbucks coffee at their properties, and then, right as he's about to finish his thought, the interviewer cuts him off and pivots to stock performance.
Come to, and I'll give a simple example, Excalibur, when I'm charging $12 for Starbucks, okay, maybe we got a bit of a...
Now, let's talk about what that $12 coffee actually represents. The Excalibur is supposed to be MGM's affordable option. It's the castle-themed property where families stay, where first-time Vegas visitors book rooms advertised at $45 per night. Except here's what they do want you to know. That $45 room doesn't exist when you actually try to book it. By the time you add the resort fee, mandatory, non-negotiable, you're at $80. Then there's the parking fee if you drove, another $18 to $25 per day, depending on whether you're staying overnight or just visiting. Suddenly your budget room is $110 before you've even walked through the casino floor. And once you're there, that's when the real extraction begins. A bottle of water from your minibar, $8. A slice of pizza at the food court, $14. These aren't luxury properties we're talking about. This is the Excalibur. These are the places that used to compete on value, where regular people could feel like high rollers for a weekend without mortgaging their house. Walk into any MGM property today and you'll notice something else. It's empty. Not entirely empty, but noticeably so. The table games have open seats at prime hours. The buffets that once had 90-minute waits now have walk-up availability. The sidewalks outside, even on a Friday night, don't have that shoulder-to-shoulder energy they had 5 years ago. The Strip still glitters, absolutely. Billions of dollars in neon doesn't just turn off, but the crowds have thinned in ways that official occupancy numbers somehow don't reflect. Here's where it gets worse. Those occupancy numbers the casinos report to investors? They're technically accurate, but they're misleading. A hotel can be 95% occupied, while still feeling deserted because the guests who are there aren't spending. They're not gambling. They're not eating at the restaurants. They're not booking shows. They're staying in their rooms they got on a discount booking site, drinking water they brought from CVS, and leaving the property to eat off-strip where a meal costs half as much. The casino's optimized for room occupancy while destroying the actual customer experience that made Vegas Vegas. Let's break down exactly how we got here, because this didn't happen overnight. Vegas used to operate on a specific economic model, and it worked for decades. The city was built on a simple promise: lose your money gambling, but feel like royalty while you do it. Free drinks at the tables, $4.99 prime rib dinners, $1 margaritas. Rooms so cheap they were practically subsidized. The casinos made their money on the gaming floor, and everything else existed to keep you there, keep you happy, and keep you pulling that slot lever. That model created something magical. A construction worker from Ohio could fly to Vegas for a weekend, stay at Caesar's Palace, eat like a king, and feel like he was living the high life, even if he lost $500 at blackjack. The experience was designed to make the little guy feel like a big shot. It was aspirational entertainment, and it was affordable enough that middle-class America could participate. Then something shifted. The casino companies went public, consolidated, and started answering to Wall Street instead of customers. MGM Resorts, Caesars Entertainment, and Wynn Resorts aren't really hospitality companies anymore. They real estate investment vehicles that happen to have casinos attached. Their executives don't think about creating memorable experiences. They think about revenue per available room, profit margins on food and beverage, and how to extract maximum value from every square foot. The result? Every single amenity that used to be free or cheap is now a profit center. Parking used to be free at every casino on the Strip. Now, $18 to $30 per day, depending on the property and your status level. Resort fees used to not exist. Now they're $35 to $50 per night at most properties, supposedly covering Wi-Fi, gym access, and other amenities that used to be included in the room rate. These fees alone add $50 to $80 per day to your trip before you've gambled a single dollar. Let's walk through a real example. Say you re a family of 4 planning a Vegas trip in 2025. You see a Facebook ad for Luxor advertising $59 rooms. Great deal, right? You book 3 nights, $177 base rate. Then you see the breakdown. Resort fee $40 per night equals $120. Parking $25 per day equals $75. Suddenly your $177 booking is $372 before taxes. Add Nevada's 13.38% lodging tax, and you re at $422 for 3 nights in a 30-year-old casino hotel that smells like cigarettes and desperation. But wait, you're there with kids, so you're not gambling much. You need to eat. Breakfast at the Luxor buffet, $32.99 per adult, $19.99 per child. That's $106 plus tax and mandatory 20% gratuity for one breakfast. You'll do that twice, plus other meals, and you're easily spending $400 to $500 on food alone for 3 days. Want to see a show? Cirque du Soleil tickets for $600 minimum, more likely $800 to $1,000 for decent seats. Need to park at the venue? That's another $40. Your $59 per night Vegas vacation is now costing $2,500 minimum. And that's if you do gamble at all. If you actually came to Vegas to gamble, you can add another $500 to $1,000 to that number for most people's typical loss threshold. We talking about a $3,000 weekend for what used to be a $1,200 experience just 7 years ago. Even more revealing was what happened when customers started complaining. The casinos didn't back down on pricing. They doubled down. MGM introduced dynamic pricing for resort fees, meaning the mandatory fee you pay changes based on demand, just like airline tickets. Caesars started charging different parking rates for different times of day. When put a $50 minimum spend requirement on poolside cabanas that used to be first come, first served. The visitation numbers prove it. Las Vegas welcomed 42.9 million visitors in 2019. In 2024, after recovering from the pandemic, they hit 43.2 million, barely any growth despite massive population growth in the U.S. But here's the really damning number. Early 2025 data shows visitation down 7.2% year over year. That's millions of people who used to visit Vegas and have now decided it's not worth it anymore. And it's not just the casinos. The whole ecosystem has followed the same playbook. Concert tickets at T-Mobile Arena or Sphere, $300 minimum for anything decent, often pushing $2,000 to $3,000 for premium seats. Parking at those venues? $60 to $100 for major events. A beer at a night's game? $17. These aren't luxury experiences. These are basic entertainment options that have been priced out of reach for the average person. If that wasn't enough, look at what's happening to the locals. Las Vegas residents, the people who actually live and work there, have been priced out of their own city's entertainment. The locals' casinos like Red Rock, Green Valley Ranch, and Sunset Station used to offer affordable alternatives. Now their prices are creeping up too, because the corporate owners see the margins MGM and Caesars are pulling on the Strip and want the same. The restaurant scene tells the same story. Vegas used to be famous for celebrity chef restaurants that, while expensive, offered enough range that you could find something for any budget. Now, a dinner at Gordon Ramsay Hell's Kitchen runs $150 per person minimum. Nobu at Caesars Palace, $200 plus per person. Even the casual options like Guy Fieri's or Bobby Flay's are $60 to $80 per person once you factor in drinks. The $20 to $30 per person restaurant has been almost entirely eliminated from the Strip. Here's what they don't want you to know. This model is failing, and they know it. Those empty tables, empty theaters, and empty sidewalks aren't an anomaly. They're the new normal. The casinos built their entire 2020 strategy on a thesis that wealthy customers would replace middle-class volume. and that thesis is crumbling. The data is undeniable. Gaming revenue per visitor is up, yes, but total gaming revenue is flat or declining at most properties. Why? Because there aren't enough wealthy gamblers to replace the middle-class players who've stopped coming. The casinos are making more money per person from the people who still show up, but they're not making more money overall. They've shrunk their customer base while increasing prices, and now they're caught in a trap. They can't lower prices without admitting the strategy failed and tanking their stock prices. Wall Street loves those high margins. Investors don't want to hear that MGM is going back to $6.99 buffets and free parking. That sounds like retreat, like weakness. So the casino executives are stuck defending a pricing model that's visibly driving customers away, all while pretending everything is fine. Bill Hornbuckle nearly admitted this on CNBC because he knows it. He sees the internal numbers. He knows the occupancy rates are being propped up by deep discounts to OTAs and convention groups. He knows the repeat visitation rate has declined sharply. He knows customer satisfaction scores are in the toilet. And for one brief moment on live television, he almost told the truth before corporate messaging discipline kicked back in. But here's where it gets truly concerning for the future of Las Vegas. The damage might be permanent. Vegas built its reputation over 70 years as a place where anyone could feel like somebody. That brand promise has been betrayed so thoroughly that an entire generation of potential customers has written it off. If you're 28 years old today and you visited Vegas in 2023, you probably had a terrible experience relative to the cost. You're not coming back. You're going to Cabo or Nashville or staying home and renovating your house. The casino companies seem to believe they can just wait this out, that eventually customers will accept the new pricing and return. But that's not how consumer behavior works. When you break trust with your customer base, especially over something as emotionally charged as feeling ripped off, you don't get that customer back easily. Vegas spent decades building goodwill with Middle America, and they've burned through it in less than 5 years of aggressive price increases and fee stacking. Look at what's happening in the broader travel market. Airbnb hosts who got greedy with cleaning fees and pricing are sitting on empty calendars. Airlines that went too far with basic economy restrictions are seeing customer defection to low-cost carriers. Restaurants that raised prices 40% during inflation are closing because diners stopped coming. The pattern is always the same. Companies get addicted to margin expansion, push too far, and then face a reckoning when customers find alternatives. Vegas is facing that reckoning now. The alternatives aren't other casino destinations. They're completely different vacation choices. Why spend $3,000 on a Vegas weekend when you could spend $3,000 on a week in Mexico? Why gamble $500 in a depressing casino when you could put that money toward a payment on a boat, or a nice dinner with your spouse, or literally anything else that doesn't make you feel like a mark? The Strip may still glitter, but without the customers who made it special, it's just expensive real estate with flashing lights. The magic that made Vegas Vegas, that feeling that you were part of something special, that you mattered, that the city wanted you there, is gone. It's been replaced by yield management algorithms and corporate KPIs and executives who view customers as profit extraction opportunities rather than guests to be delighted. So we come back to that $12 Starbucks coffee and Bill Hornbuckle's near confession. They got greedy. They thought they could charge whatever they wanted because where else are you going to get that Vegas experience? But they forgot the most important thing. The Vegas experience only works if it feels like a good value, even when you're losing money. The moment it feels like a ripoff, the magic dies. The casinos are betting that customers will eventually accept the new reality. I'm betting they won't. If you've been burned by these charges, if you've felt that sting of buyer's remorse walking through an empty casino after spending $2,000 on a weekend that used to cost $800, drop your story in the comments. Because the only way this changes is if enough people stop gambling their money and loyalty on a city that no longer values them. Would you still gamble your money in Las Vegas at these prices? The next video might just reveal where everyone's going instead, and why the casino executives are quietly panicking about it. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it.